Okay, so I've got some notes for the POE class dealing with energy sources. So we're starting kind of a new section here. So if you're not done with your compound machine problem, you should probably skip a page and start out with energy sources. So here we go. Energy sources. First, energy is the ability to do work. Remember, work is force times distance, but this is the ability to do work. And we can define energy sources as one of three things: non-renewable, renewable, and inexhaustible. Okay, those are the three. So make sure you get those in your notes. The sun's the original source, and just about everything comes from the sun. Okay, so non-renewable sources that cannot be replaced once it's used. Sorry about that, folks. I hit the wrong button. So fossil fuels, okay, such as coal. Once we use up all the coal, we can't use it anymore. So we need a lot of coal, electrical power plants. Well, when we use up all the coal, not much we can do. Dig deeper maybe, but then we have some problems. And then we have some problems when you burn coal, because then we have the fumes that we have to deal with. Oil, whether it's offshore oil or up in like Williston or down in Carlsbad, New Mexico. Okay, but we have a problem there, getting the oil and then moving it. What if we spill it? We have a whole lot of environmental issues. And then natural gas. These are all three non-renewable. Once we've used these up, they are done. Now, there are other alternative energy ones that are not fossil fuels. Okay, one that we don't think of really is uranium. So that's like a nuclear power plant. Uranium that we have here, nuclear fission. Okay, and there's problems with that. What happens if the oven, we'll call it an oven, gets too hot and burns right through? Okay, well, that happened. What do you do with the leftover, the byproducts of uranium after you've burned it? Then they become radioactive. What do you do with that? Pretty soon people are walking around with like 3 eyeballs or something like that. Okay, so all of these have problems with them. Next one we have are renewable. Okay, sources that can be replaced once we've used it. Good example, animals. We just get more animals. Okay, food, sources of energy. We just grow more food. We can do that. Biomass. By biomass, I mean biofuel, like ethanol. Okay, so poets up here, we grow the corn is distilled, we make ethanol from it, and methanol. Methanol is the byproduct of cows, comes out of both ends of the cow. So we take cow poo and we can make methanol. There's a huge digester up at South Dakota State that makes energy from methanol. Okay, we have hydroelectric, we have dams that we can do this with, such as Gavin's Point Dam, Oahe. Okay, all those deal with making electricity. Now, to do that, you've got your reservoir on the left-hand side. Here's an intake. So it goes down the chute. It's got to go downhill. Then it hits the turbine and turns it, and that starts the generator in the powerhouse. The water continues to go down the river. This is what happens at Gavin's Point Dam, and it goes on. So hydroelectric works as an inexhaustible energy source. Okay, then we have tidal. So the same thing. There are tides, underwater tides, or tides out in the ocean that happen, and it's like a current that always is flowing through there. Okay, we have geothermal. Okay, I don't know if anybody lives in a house that has geothermal, but they go down into the earth, and the earth is a constant temperature. So when it's warm, like or hot in the summer, it's actually cool. Okay, I think you go down about 4 feet, and you have a constant temperature. Now in the winter, when it's like 30 below outside, the temperature of the underground area is around, say, 50 degrees. Okay, so you've already warmed it up quite a bit. We just have to warm it up a little bit more. More houses are going with geothermal than ever before on there. We have wind. So if you see the turbines out by Kimball, White Lake, something like that. We have wind, and we always have wind in South Dakota. Those are all inexhaustible energy sources. Solar. Okay, the first picture here, solar collector. It hits these, goes to a certain spot right there, and that's where we collect the solar power. You can get shingles that have solar on them, so you can do your house that way. Out in space, how do they power these things out there? They use solar collectors and use the sun's energy again to do that. Here's a solar farm. So you've got all of these little solar collectors, like reflectors, and then they all shine back up to a spot up here, and that's where the water is. So when you put energy towards water, that creates the turbine that can go around and around, just like heating up coal that heats up the water and makes the turbines going around. But this is a solar farm. It happens out a lot in New Mexico, California, and areas like that. That's another use for solar that we have there. Okay. Now, we can also store energy. We're not making any energy, we're just storing it. We can do that with hydrogen and then batteries. So we've got the Tesla cars. They have batteries. Okay. Out by County Fair, you can charge your car out there, be able to go through and do it. And then hydrogen. So you got hydrogen cars, or you've got buses, things like that. Now, you need to go to this website, and there are some questions on the study guide that you need to go through, is how a hydrogen cell, fuel cell actually works. So you can go through and find that and answer a few questions. Remember, all this goes into your engineering notebook to be able to do this. So, okay, and there are sources, and we are done with that.